Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. All right, today we have I guess it's not a question as much as it's some comments that came in today, and I think they're very relevant because number one, they're in reference to a daily I just did, and that daily was called elbow pain. And the question comes in, or the comments come in from Jamie Klingen, MD. So we got a medical doctor responding to that daily that I did. And so with all of that, I think I like some of the comments he made. And so I want to bring that up, and then hopefully we'll use this a little bit of a refresher course on what he's talking about. Dear Serge, enjoyed your video on elbow pain. I have heard sports doctors recommend wearing the elbow brace for about a month after your pain subsides. I think it works primarily by reducing the pull or strain at your elbow where the forearm muscles attach. In parentheses goes, just like you're not tightening up your forearms all the way to your elbow. I commented in that video that when I set my grip pressure, I firm up my wrists, I firm up my fingers all the way through my hands, my wrists, and all the way up to just short of my elbow, where just about, I'm sure you've all recognized, I'm wearing an elbow brace today. I put it on in lieu of this thing because Doc is going to comment about it here. All right? And it's the first time I've had it on in a really long time because it doesn't bother me too often, but it never leaves my bag, so in case it starts bothering me, I put it in. And yes, I think Dr. Klingen is exactly right. It's to hold the muscles tighter together, so with less movement, they got less chance of becoming more inflamed and possibly getting more injured. Okay? So he says, I think it works primarily by reducing the pull or strain in your elbow where the forearm muscles attach, just like you're not tightening up your forearms all the way to your elbow. For someone with frequent elbow soreness, they may be gripping the club way too tight. Correct. All right? I'm going to go into that a little bit when I get done reading all of this. Too tight, holding the club wrong, and over straightening the forward arm, the left arm for a righty and the right arm for a lefty. Some other things I'll briefly talk about. Also, your big boy golf grips would help anybody with elbow issues. Yeah, we're talking about those Enlow grips we had and anything like that, or just good plain bigger arthritic grips on clubs, so that you've got a little bit more, especially if you got bigger hands and your clubs are too tight, you got to squeeze your fingers, which will tighten up your forearms all the way up to elbows more to try to stop the club from spinning in your hand to have a relatively firm grip. So that works good. I'm afraid you won't find any medical evidence that copper bracelets do anything. Remember, placebos help 30% of the time too. Interestingly, people do get problems with copper deficiency as well as too much copper. These days, people using a lot of zinc containing cold remedies could develop a copper deficiency. So I guess in that case, copper bracelets would help them. People can take copper supplements or get it through their diet in things like organ meats, shellfish, nuts, and mushrooms. Okay, all right, that's again from Dr. Jamie Klingen. All right, Doc, thanks so much for taking the time to send in, because again, I think sometimes it never hurts to talk about anything that is going to help our health and our well-being. So I think the first thing to discuss is, I'm just going to mention that whenever my elbow starts hurting, I do put copper bracelets on, and they tend to go away. I have told this to hundreds and hundreds of people. I had one of my assistant pros once told me, we were talking one day, we were having lunch or something, he said, man, I hate it, my dad just had to quit playing golf. I said, really? What's wrong? He said his elbow's hurting him so bad, he said he can't even, and his neck muscles and arms are hurting him so bad, he can't even turn around and turn around like this. He's got to swivel his chair. I said, well, go get him a copper bracelet, see if that can help. I mean, I've had a lot of people with elbow problems and neck problems and stuff, and they do this. So he got him to add a copper bracelet, and in a day or two, his dad was up playing golf again. Now again, whether it's the placebo effect or not, as far as I'm concerned, if it works, who cares? All right? I mean, if you can fake your mind out where you don't feel the pain, then I think it's fine. All right? So let's get back to talking about this. Here's the one I got here. This is sort of like a neoprene type bracelet. I got this when I first, probably late 80s or early 90s, when I first, when I came in about 87, I came to Harbortown in 87, and that's, as you know, the tour was playing there. And whenever the first year or two that the vans were finally coming out on tour, they were put out by, I think it was Sentinel Hospital in California. I went in a trailer and I started talking to those guys, and one of the guys and I got quite friendly, and one time I just mentioned my elbow pain, so he went in there and pulled this out of the drawer, and he said, here, take this. And he says, I really like any one of these that in this case neoprene, it holds the heat in, And he said, so your arm's going to sweat over there. When I take this off, if I've worn it in the summertime, it's soaking wet under there. But he says that's good. Keeping the heat in is going to help the muscles. And so this never leaves my bag. It's always down in one of the pockets in my bag. And I hardly ever have to use it. But as I said on that daily that I did about the elbow pain, to this day, if I go to the range, I could stand there and hit 100 3-woods in a row, just nonstop. Hit it, tee it up, hit it, no problems. If I hit about 15 or more drivers in a row, it always hurts me. Remember, I swing short drivers. So whatever it is, that extra inch and a half longer that my driver is over my 3-wood just puts enough stress in the club straightening out, the CGs or the extra speed and everything else, that it tends to start hurting my elbow. So I don't hit a lot of drivers. All right, I almost never hit drivers. As you all know, I say most of the time now, I don't ever practice. So, at all, hardly, almost never. Even to warm up before a round, I just go to the tee and do a few stretches and tee it up and, just hit a good shot down the middle of the fairway, pick up my bag and start walking and go get it and hit it. All right, but a lot of people do. So a couple issues about this. A, as Doc said in his comments, too tight a grip can do it. All right. But I don't know if that's going to cause as big a problem as this one. A bad grip, somewhat in the palms on the top hand, which would be a left hand for a right-hander. When it's in the palm, you got to squeeze tight. And I think when it's in the palm, if you got a proper grip, if you kind of might crimp those fingers right there and lay it in the crimp, just like I crimped the right fingers and laid it in the crimp. If I lay it in there, to me, when I squeeze tight, it stops right here. But if I got it in my palm, it just goes right up past my elbow up towards my biceps, and I don't have much of a grip. All right, because the club it's in the palm. You're gonna have a difficult time, especially at an impact for the club even a solid impact for the club not to have a little bit of twisting on it. Okay, so I think you're gonna have to get a good grip. The second big thing is, and I'm seeing a lot of this again as I mentioned it on that daily about the elbow before, is I see the forward arm, left arm for a righty, right arm for a lefty. I see a little too straight, and as you see, if I straighten this up, it does what? It raises the shaft, because why? In doing that, arching it up, it raised my shoulder, and in arching it up, it also raises and turns my elbow to the left, which is counter opposite way it's got to rotate here. So it's only just squeeze it to where it reaches here, and you never want to get any straightening or arching of the elbow, because that will put tremendous strain on it and on the elbow, never mind the fact it's working its way all the way up to the shoulder and the neck. All right, so I think those two issues do it. So, and again, as we know, with this arched elbow, it wants to take the club back shut, all right, as compared to allowing that natural rotation. And again, like if you were going to stand here and raise your hand, and let's say there's somebody had just tripped and fallen down, and they're laying on the ground, they reach their arm up, say they reach up their left arm to you, so you go and grab them with your left arm to raise them. You're not going to go down to them and go like that and stiffen your arm. You're just going to go here and squeeze their hand and pull up. You are not going to arch or lock your left elbow. You won't do that. So if you don't do it in all the natural things in life, why do you want to do it with hitting a golf ball? All right, so that's a critical thing for the pain. So again, you can try copper or any other things that people say. I mean, I'm always wearing one of these ion bracelets, and this one's called a Fusion, the Fusion bracelet. It's Ions, I-O-N-Z, and I wear this, and all I know is it doesn't hurt me. I don't feel worse with it on, and I really think I feel better. So whether it's a placebo or it is helping or does nothing and not hurt me, what have I got to lose? At least it looks pretty cool, and wears pretty good, rubbery, so I don't have to worry about anything. But the one thing a lot of people don't like about copper, it will turn your arm kind of underneath it kind of green, so you got to wash a lot and everything else. But again, if it whether placebo or it really works and it takes your pain away, if it takes the pain away and you're pain free and you can swing and hit the ball better, and you got a little bit of green stain on your wrist every day when you have to go take your shower, I think that's well worth it, huh? So either way, if it works, fine, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But it doesn't matter. The key is many cases I think a better grip and proper elbow adjustment in the right position and taking the club back in the catcher's mitt, toe up to toe up, and you start hitting a lot of good shots, better shots, solid straight, shooting those lower scores, and hopefully with a lot less to no elbow pain. All right, well, that's it for the Surge. Listen to your body. If it starts hurting, research and find out what could be going wrong and what you can do to fix it before it gets too bad. Because as Dr. Armstrong said, tension, stress, and strain is the prelude to pain. It should never get to pain. All right. And in golf, we're supposedly the sissy sport, so there's no reason why our swing should be causing us pain, whether it be our elbow, knees, shoulders, hips, back. If that's happening, you need to research what's going on and find a cure. All right. And in most cases, PPGS, the Peak Performance Golf Swing, setup and swing is a good cure for almost all of those ailments, because if it's swing related, you know you got that stressful swing, and the Peak Performance Golf Swing is the body friendly swing. That's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking to you all again soon.